Hey, welcome back, my fellow investors. It's me, E.T., and remember, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm just a self-taught investor who likes to talk about ways to increase one's net worth. Now, one of the ways to increase your net worth is to be mindful of cash flow. Cash flow is the lifeblood of your household, of businesses. It's the lifeblood of the economy. And definitely one of the ways to increase your net worth is to understand cash flow and use it in the right way. So let's take a look at your typical household or typical employee's cash flow. Then we're going to talk about your typical business cash flow. I'll give you some suggestions, and then we'll talk about the ideal cash flow for you and your household. All right. The typical employee or household cash flow looks like this. They have a job, J-O-B, and that job produces a salary. So it comes in on their income statement as a salary. That's where the income comes in at. Now, normally, typically, this is what it looks like. From here, we go out and we pay expenses. We stop at expenses. You know, it could be rent, could be utilities, could be insurance. Bottom line, whatever it takes in order for us to survive on. Those are expenses. That's how I look at it. And then from there, we go and we start paying, next stop, liabilities. And most of the liabilities are depreciating liabilities, are costly liabilities. Credit cards, student loans, car payments, things of that nature there. Now, keep this in mind. Anytime there's a liability for one person, that means there's an income for another. Your liabilities, now, that money, that cash flow now goes to businesses and investors in the form of income. And what your typical business and our investor will do when they have income coming in from something, from an asset that they have that's a liability for you, what they'll do is they'll definitely have to go out and they have to pay their expenses, payroll, rent, mortgage, whatever it may be. They got to go out and pay for some of the liabilities. Or also, they can go out and buy some more liabilities. But the difference in your household liabilities and the business liabilities, these here are liabilities that will generate more income. So these are assets. So they're actually going out and buying more liabilities, which realistically is assets. And the assets that they buy is there to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to produce more income. So as a business, they buy their assets, and guess what? It comes back in here to them as income. So if you take a look at this cash flow, an employee gets a salary, pay their expenses, liabilities, comes over here as income to a business. Let's just say that, for example. Expenses, liabilities, which is an asset that they're buying so that it can produce more income for them. This is why, and you notice I put business/investor. And the reason why I did that is because that's how they operate. If you read this book, The Cash Flow Quadrant, by Robert Kiyosaki. That's right, the guy who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is an excellent illustration of that. He talks about that in his book. The employee, the self-employed, the business, and the investor. On the right side, you have your business and investors. That's where they make their money. That's how the rich continue to get richer, because they take any income that they have, they buy assets to produce more income. This here is the ideal model to have. Now, what I would suggest for any household, what I do within my household is, we got income coming in, The ultimate goal is to do away with this one day. So, but until that happens, income comes in, pay the expenses, go to liabilities, but also I'm going to divert a little bit here and I'm going to start building up my assets. All right, assets. It could be real estate, stocks, bonds, collectibles, intellectual properties. The list could go on. And remember, an asset is anything that's going to increase in value or put money in your pocket. And the reason why you want to do that is because you want to have this same illustration going on over here. By you start buying some assets here, guess what? These assets now are going here. That's what you want to do. You want to operate your household like a business. Pay your expenses, control and limit and your liabilities, and really, when you go out and you get a liability, find out if it's a depreciating liability or a liability that will appreciate or possibly even generate income for you. If that's the case, then it's definitely an asset. If not, no. Don't go out and buy liabilities. Go out and buy assets. Focus on buying assets. Now, the key is this here. Business and investors may have the numbers on their side. You may have to start over here and it start off real small, real slow. This is not a get rich scheme here. This is a scheme in order to build your net worth over time. And eventually you're going to get to the point where you won't need a job because you'll have enough assets generating income for you to pay your expenses and pay your liabilities. That's the idea cash flow that you want within your household. And the only way to get that is just to start focusing on, once you get money, salary, wherever you get that income come from. Once you get something that comes in that income column, all right, you want to reduce this, keep this to a bare minimum, and you want to increase this, increase your assets. One quick question I want to ask you guys here. The last paycheck that you got, what assets did you buy with them? Did all of your money go into expenses and paying for liabilities? Hopefully it didn't all go into savings, because savings is, you can't win with savings, because realistically, in the long haul, any money that you have in saving is actually losing money. Its savings rate is not keeping up with inflation, so your money is actually decreasing. So you have to focus on buying assets. That's the only way you're going to get ahead in today's economy, is by focusing your effort on buying assets. So those assets can start generating income for you. And if you keep this up, eventually you won't need that. So that's the overall gist of having an idea and understanding cash flow. How does it work? How does it work for big business? How does it work for an investor? Because how it works for them, you can make it work the same way for you. So hopefully you guys got something out of this. If so, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and notification buttons. With all that said, guys, remember this. Save. You got to have that emergency fund. Invest. You got to put your money to work. And apply what you know, because knowledge is not power. It's the application of knowledge that's power. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.
Come on now.
That's right. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe buttons, followed by that notification button. That'll help out the channel. Thanks.